Mommispace, a place where you can remember who you are in the midst of it all. This podcast gives moms of all stages a voice to share their experiences and the truth that there is no right way to mom. Welcome back to Mommispace. This is Bree, and today I'm here with my friend Mary. And Mary, I totally am not good at pronouncing your last name, so can you help me out?
Don't worry. It's Adzhigirey. And to be honest, I don't even know if I say it right sometimes.
Well, thanks for taking me off the hook there. I met Mary when we were at BSSM, and actually we went to India together. So that's kind of fun with her husband as well.
Yeah.
You guys actually got engaged on that trip, which was so romantic and so beautiful.
Yes.
But yeah, since she has become a mom, and I'm so excited to kind of talk to you today about your journey. But before we kind of dive in, can you just share a little bit about your family, where you're located, and what daily life looks like for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for just reaching out. My name is Mary. My husband is Russ. We have a 1-year-old now named Oliver, and we live in Nashville, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And we both work and live here. My family's here, and daily life is just every day is different. I feel like for us, I'm a full-time nurse. I work in the ICU, and I also work part-time at church. So I'm kind of like working mom, and then my husband also works full-time. So we kind of don't have a typical day, but we are loving living here in Nashville and raising our 1-year-old right now.
It's amazing. All right. So could you kind of share a little bit about your journey into motherhood? Like, had you guys been planning on having a baby? Were you trying, or was it kind of a surprise? And share maybe a little bit of your emotion around that journey.
For sure. Yeah. So we had been trying for probably about a year or so, and just weren't able to get pregnant. And so we didn't really know what was going on. And I had a dream about, I was on this beach, and we were at like a, those, what is it called when you figure out if it's a boy or girl kind of party?
Oh, yeah.
I just told it like a gender reveal. Yes. A gender reveal. Yeah. So we were in my dream, we were at like this gender reveal, and we opened up this box and blue balloons flew out, and I heard the name, in my dream, I heard the name Oliver.
Wow.
And this is when we were still trying to get pregnant, and we hadn't conceived yet. And so I woke up from that dream, and I told Russ, I said, "Hey, how do you fancy the name Oliver?" And he was like, "Actually, I kind of like it."
No
and
way.
I said, "Well, good." And he said, "Good." I said, "Good, because I think the Lord just gave me a dream that we're going to have a baby boy." And so a couple weeks later, we got a couple weeks later, we got a prophetic word that we were going to get pregnant soon. And people always say don't give those words, but we had a relationship with this guy. and then random, I was in the kitchen one day, and I had cut my hand open with a kitchen knife.
Oh man.
This is like kind of detour on the story. And I actually had to go in and have surgery.
Whoa.
So in surgery, the anesthesiologist walks in, and he said, "Well, we can't perform the surgery how, we'd like, because you're pregnant."
Oh my
gosh. What? And so he was like, "Do you want me to go get your husband?" And I said, "Yeah." And so Russ comes in there, and I'm crying, and Russ is like, "Well, it's just your hand. It's just surgery. Don't worry about it." And I said, "No, we're pregnant." And he's like, "What? How? How did that happen?" Because again, we had been trying, and so I ended up getting admitted to the hospital because they had to figure out what to do with me, and we got a call from his parents, and his parents said, "Hey, just checking on Mary. Is there anything that you guys want to tell us? We just got a prophetic word that there's a blonde grandbaby on the way."
What?
And And we were like, no, we don't want to tell anyone at that point. So we're like, oh no, we don't know anything.
Oh my
And
gosh.
but anyways, so at our 20-week appointment, we found out it was a boy, and we said,
Wow.
okay, well, this is Oliver. So I so in one ways it was kind of a shock, and we were trying, but at the same time we kind of knew, from the Lord,
Yeah.
it was planned, and he had already seen Oliver and known him before he was conceived. So
Mm.
it was it's a really cool story that we love to look back
Oh
on.
my gosh. Yeah, that's amazing. Now, had you been like feeling, I don't know, I kind of like to ask moms, like, for especially moms that were trying to get pregnant, like kind of what some of their process with the waiting season was like, and kind of how you managed your emotions and like, and staying hopeful. Like, how is
Right,
that for you?
right. Well, I am very thankful. I know that there's a lot of women and moms who wait much longer and try a lot longer than we did. And so I don't ever want to it to seem like we had this like huge waiting game, because I know that there's people who, years and years of
Yeah.
waiting to conceive. And for us, it really felt like a timing thing for us. And I had met with a doctor, and we did get started on some medicine. Beforehand, but they thought that, they were trying to actually just get my cycles regulated, and
Mm.
instead, we got pregnant immediately. And so I never, yeah, for us, it felt like we were able to have little things of encouragement along the way, just from
Yeah.
doctors and people, and not having to wait,
Yeah.
super long. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was an encouraging process for
Oh,
us,
that's
for
so
sure.
cool. So, do you have any like
Yeah.
suggestions for moms that are maybe in that place, or women who are wanting to get pregnant? Like any like words of advice or encouragement that you would give, having been in that
Um,
space?
I think for us, it was, for us, it was, I think, mostly just being aware of what season
Mm,
you're in, and just really dialing into like the word of the Lord,
mm,
like for you and for your family, because I believe it's in God's intention for everyone to be fruitful and multiply and have
yeah,
kids. And whether that looks like adoption, IVF, medication,
yeah,
he's a God of he's a God of healing, and it can look different for everyone. But just to be encouraged for what season you're in,
so
and
good.
what God has called you guys to, for sure.
Love it. That's great. Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, I'd love to kind of have you share a little bit about your passions in life, whether that's what you do for work, just something that brings you joy in life. And I just want to know, like, does being a mom fuel those things? Like, how has that been in this transition of raising your first baby?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, I'm a ICU nurse. I also work for my church, and I think right now what is bringing me life and joy is just people, and
Mm,
being around people, and seeing people come into healing, whether that be medically,
mm,
at the hospital, or, spiritually, emotionally at church.
yeah,
And it's something that's always kind of brought me life, is just to be around people and talking with them, engaging with them emotionally. And when Oliver came into my life, I felt like, okay, what is this going to look like? How am I going to, still pursue some dreams that are in my heart, still pursue things that I want to do? And at that time, I wasn't, when I had gotten pregnant with Oliver, I wasn't on staff at church yet. And then I had somebody approach me that said, "Hey, when you come back from maternity leave, do you want to come on staff at our church?" And
wow,
honestly, I felt like that was from the Lord, just
mm,
being like, I haven't forgot about your dreams or
wow,
your passions. And it has been so cool to watch how not only has the staff at my church just been so accommodating towards me as a mom, like letting Oliver come to meetings, letting him
oh,
be there at services. Like Oliver's been almost at a ton of our staff meetings. And
that's
then
so cool.
even people at the hospital like have been so accommodating to have him. Like, I don't take him to the ICU, but like if we were to have like if we were to have a staff meeting, like they would be totally okay for him to come. And like it's been such a cool thing to watch community surround and just understand where I'm at in my life and where I'm at with having a son, and watching people be like, absolutely, like bring him along. Or somebody will, like today, just having friends be able to come over and hang out with him for a little bit has been awesome.
Cool. Wow. That's amazing. So what are some things that you do to stay inspired and to manage your time in the day-to-day since you are a working mom? Like, what does that look like for you?
So I think the biggest thing is to just try to make things easier. And I just, for the longest time, before I was pregnant, you make grocery runs, you make Target runs, you do all this stuff. And I'm just finding there's so many ways to make life easier nowadays, with technology and things, and to not feel shame in doing that. For example, like I love Amazon Prime. It has changed my life as a mom. It has seriously changed my life. I don't know what I would do without it. Like, I don't have to go to Target, like make that just Target run just for diapers, like I can have diapers here in 2 days. I used to go grocery shopping and I would just get a bunch of stuff, and then I would come home and Russ would be like, so what's for dinner? And I'd be like, well, I've got some raw carrots here and some rice. I'm trying to be all healthy, but I have no meals. And so now we do this thing called Emeals, and it's basically it's just an app that you can pick a meal plan and it makes your grocery list for you. So I can go in and have a grocery list already ready for me. So I think just, and, not feeling shame if there's one day where I just feel like we need to hire somebody to clean our house, and just doing it, and realizing that we have a budget, but there's sometimes things can give, and, we just need the help that week. And so I think just trying to do just the most to make things easier on you, and the most that you can spend with your little kiddo,
That's so good. I love that. What is the thing that you do for meals? That sounds amazing.
It's called Emeals. It's not one of those like subscription things where you get it like delivered to your house or anything. You're still going to the grocery store, so you can kind of do how you want to shop and add things in. But it's basically, you can pick a plan. So you can pick, if you're a vegetarian family, you can do that. You can do, paleo, whatever. You pick your plan that you want. Then it just makes like a grocery list for you, and you can pick like the meals you want, and it kind of goes from there. So it actually started letting us have meals that we put together instead of Russ coming home and being like, what are we gonna eat tonight? Like, we have a full fridge, but there is nothing here to make.
I love that. That's so cool. I'm gonna add the link, hopefully, because I know I'm not the only mom who'd be interested in something like that. Sounds awesome.
And it's Dave Ramsey approved for those of the budget friendly people. He likes it, so.
I love that. Okay, cool. So what are some things that you do to kind of take care of your heart, I don't know, week to week, as you manage your time and your schedule with working and with raising your son? Like, what are some things that you do to just kind of reset and check in with your heart?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for Russ and I both right now is just communicating to each other on what we need and when we need it. I think for me specifically, just having like 30 minutes at the end of the day, even before Oliver goes to bed. Because I think after Oliver goes to sleep, I'm already exhausted and I just want to like chill out anyways. But just like 30 minutes before Oliver goes to bed sometime, whether Russ is taking him or my mom is taking him, just that I can sit and not think about anything else, and like not 30 minutes to do laundry or, anything like that. But something to sit and read a book that I really enjoy, um, or listen to some music, or just something just by myself and alone. But I think the biggest thing for us is just communicating that. Like, I know there was one day when Russ came home and I said, I don't even know why, but I want a pumpkin spice latte so bad that I can hardly stand it. And there's no way that I'm getting out of the house again with Oliver.
Oh.
I was like, is there any way that I can just go to Starbucks and get one of those? And he's like, absolutely. He's like, absolutely. So I went and I just got a pumpkin spice latte, sat in my car, listened to a podcast, and drank drank it.
So good.
And just I felt so refreshed after that latte.
Yes.
And I don't even think, and I wasn't even doing anything exciting. I was literally sitting in my car, but it just felt so awesome to get out and do that. Yeah. I'd say a lot of my heart care involves coffee. I'm like, heart, what do you need? And I just always hear coffee.
That is so great. I love it. I think a lot of moms can relate to that. Aww. Okay, so have you experienced mom guilt in your first year of momming? And if so, how do you overcome it?
Yeah. So I think in the first 6 months of Oliver being alive, I didn't experience so much mom guilt as I felt like almost like a wife guilt. Like, just like Russ getting home and I didn't have stuff done. I didn't have dinner on the table. I didn't have clothes folded or the house clean. And I just felt this like pressure to get things done, and realizing, and he is like the most caring, sweet husband. He does not care what I get done during the day. Like, he doesn't have that expectation on me. And so I think for those first 6 months, just leaving off the expectation of myself, like, if I wouldn't expect somebody else to do it, then why do I expect myself to do it, kind of thing. Then I feel like the next 6 months, the only time that I felt like true mom guilt, I think, has been around what I'm feeding Oliver. For some reason, it has triggered me so much, because you get on social media, you see what other moms are feeding their little ones, and you see, well, there's plastic in this carrot, and then there's not in this, I don't know. And so I think, and honestly, I think for that, I've just had to be like, okay, Mary, what is important is that you are feeding your child, and you don't have to compare yourself. And I think as soon as that I should have or I didn't, comes in, I know that that's shame, and I just have to like just say no to it in my head. Because I don't know what it is about the food thing these days.
Oh my gosh, totally.
I feel like it's everywhere.
I was experiencing it this morning. I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, and my little is like struggling to eat very much at all right now. So I'm like, like what I do get in, I want it to be quality, but she's not always eating it. Yeah, right. I totally get that for sure. But that's great. Great advice. Yeah. Yes. So when you hear the word legacy, what comes to mind when you think about leaving a legacy to your son and future kids?
I think what kind of pops in my mind with the word legacy is how I just kind of want him to remember and to do life in a way. And for us, I think something that we just have a core value in is this core value that God is good, and that we can always hope. And what I think what I mean by that is I want Oliver to grow up always expecting good things. I think in a world where we have so many bad things on the news, and so much hurt and so much sickness, disease, and everything, I just want Oliver to grow up in a legacy of expecting the good and expecting good things to come from a good God. And I think that is kind of something that Russ and I have really been talking a lot about, even recently, just about leaving this legacy of knowing that God is good and knowing
Yes.
that he can expect that in life. I think when you think of legacy, you also, for some reason, I automatically think financially,
Yeah, I do
like
too, totally.
I think, okay, what does it look like to set up a good legacy financially for my kids? Um, and, I think it's so important that we do that. But in the same way, I just, I think even more knowing that God is provider and God is good,
Mm.
and having that ingrained. Because I think growing up for me, I saw my dad and I saw kind of the stuff that he left me, and I think it was wonderful and beautiful. But I think the thing that holds truest is just knowing that no matter what circumstances, no matter if you have, if you don't have the finances,
Yeah.
knowing that you can always trust in a good God that will provide.
Yeah.
I think that can be even so much more important.
Oh, yeah, that's huge. I love that perspective. Ah, that's so good. All right, cool. I like to end with some fun questions. So, the first would be, do you have a favorite product for yourself or for your kiddo that you are really enjoying at this time?
Uh, so I don't know if this has been said yet, but my favorite product is the nose Frida.
Yes.
I absolutely love that thing. And some people think it's so gross because you're
Uh,
literally sucking up snot from your kid's nose. But those bulb suctions just don't work,
no,
and
no.
you don't get much out. And so my husband, was super wary of it at first. He thought that he was gonna like choke on Oliver's snot.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I was like, no, there's a filter, like
yeah.
it's totally normal, and now we just love it. I mean, Oliver doesn't like it so much, but it's
Yeah.
probably my favorite product for getting the boogers out. And then
That's great.
um I would just say for myself, obviously Amazon Prime. That's just
Ayo.
I can't. I Yeah, I can't think of anything better than that.
Those are two good ones. Yeah, I love the nose Frida too. Brandon, my husband, is like very skeptical of it still, but I'll take it any day over those
Mhm.
bulbs. They're so effective. Um,
I know. I
yeah,
know.
it just seems like whoever invented that is just like genius and probably very
I know,
wealthy.
and probably extremely. They're gonna leave a great legacy
Yeah, yeah,
for their kids.
exactly. With less boogers too. That's a good thing. Do you
Yeah.
guys have a favorite holiday family tradition yet?
Um, for us, I was thinking Christmas. I think Christmas when you say a
Yeah,
holiday
yeah.
tradition, and so um, for us, I think it'll always be getting a real Christmas tree. I don't know
Mm.
if you were around when Russ had the Christmas
Oh
tree lot.
yeah,
He opened up a lot in Reading when
that's
we were
right.
first married, and we spent countless hours on that Christmas tree lot.
Oh
And so now that Russ knows everything about Christmas trees, I think from now on we'll always have a real one in the house, and we
yes,
just love the smell, love the we love just I don't know, what it feels like. So
yeah.
I think having a real Christmas tree will
Oh,
always be in our fam.
that's great. Yeah, I remember seeing pictures of you guys like amongst all these beautiful trees. I wasn't in Reading at the time, but I
Mhm.
loved getting those updates. It looked so fun.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was a lot more work, but it looked awesome.
It was a lot of work. We will probably never do it again, but it was really great time. We ate
Oh,
so much Thai food. That was probably
oh,
the
was
most
it
I remember.
near the Thai
We were
place?
right next Yeah, we were right next to our favorite Thai place, and so we
Oh,
had Thai food every night and
yes.
sold Christmas trees
Ooh,
for a
those are
season.
good memories. Dang, for your first,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
so good. Awesome. Okay, and then the last thing would be just a piece of advice you'd give to a new mom.
For a new mom, I would say brand new, like I still feel like a new mom. So I think for a brand new mom, I would say invest in some dry shampoo, get a
Mm.
coffee mug that keeps your coffee hot for a little over 5 or 6 hours. 'Cause when you have, because we got this stainless steel coffee mug, and it kept and I was like newborn, breastfeeding every 2 hours, all that stuff. And I didn't have a chance to drink my coffee till about noon. And if you have a good coffee mug, you can keep it hot.
Nice. That's such good advice.
And then on a more serious note, I think if you just always remember to give yourself, and I think I said this earlier, just give yourself the amount of grace that you would give someone else. Because I think there's so many times that I want to do something, or that I, want to get out of the house and it doesn't work out, or I'm late meeting someone, or, the list goes on. And if I was sitting there face to face with somebody else, I would never require the things that I require myself of sometimes. And so I think just remembering that if you were sitting one-on-one with somebody else and it ends up being you, then how much grace are you going to have for them, But yeah, I think that those would be the two things I would say.
That's very good advice. I'll take that for myself today. So good. Oh, Mary, thank you so much for this and taking the time to share your journey and some very sweet advice. I'm so grateful.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It was good to catch up.
Yes, totally. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's interview. Please share this with a friend if it impacted you in any way, and leave a review on iTunes so other mamas can hear the truth, that they are enough and they are doing their very best. Be sure to catch up on what's happening in the Mommispace community every day on Instagram at Mommispace. And you can email me at mommispace@gmail.com for questions or interview recommendations. All my love to you, Mama. You're amazing. See you next week. Just to say that I'm the one you love. It's so like you to do the best for one, the best for love. It's so like you to do the best for